said, I'm Akeem. I'm based in Atlanta, and my company is a full-service event design firm who also offers floral design. And today, I'm going to be talking about selling the dream wedding, 5 sales techniques to increasing your business revenue. And these are kind of my personal take of the 5 sales techniques to increase your revenue. And those things are clarifying your role, breaking your role up into specific goals, selling to your customers' needs, building competitive advantage, and taking creative control. Clarifying your role. What do you do? Who are your clients? And what makes you unique? The question, what do you do? Like I said when I introduced myself, I am an event designer. That's what I like to call myself. I'm an event designer. My company offers a floral design service. Now, it's very important when you're explaining to a client what you do, because nowadays, I'm an event designer, and it's very confusing to the client because my colleague who offers a very uniquely different service, very often wedding planners, event planners, are now also calling themselves event designers. And so when the client goes to our website, when they go to our social media, when they go, when they start to do their research to see what we do, they're completely confused, because now we have all of these different titles and different roles in the business and in the industry, and it really just confuses the client. So one of the things that I like to do when I sit down with the client is I make sure that I clarify that this is what we do. These are our service offerings, and this is how I can help you. Because very often, when we get that initial call from a client, they call us and they think that we're planners, and so I have to make them understand that I don't want to plan for anybody. Actually, interesting tidbit. When I first started my company, I marketed myself as legally. When I first started, almost 13 years ago now, when I first started, I marketed myself as full service event planning and event design. And so what that did was enable me to kind of gain my footing in my market, because I didn't know, did I really want to plan, or did I really want to design? I knew that I was embarking on this new business venture, and I was in this creative space, but that just helped me realize that, what I did not want to do. Who are your clients? One of the things that we have, that I've been able to do is, someone kind of touched on this earlier, and is the bride your client, or is the planner your client? And fortunately, at this point, I have, in one of my moments where, I was trying to figure out, how am I going to get more clients, or how am I going to increase my business? I was very intentional about reaching out to planners and building what I like to call creative alliances. And we kind of partner with these planners to say, hey, this is what you do, and this is what we do. And so if we partner together as this unit and offer this service to this bride or this client, then everyone wins. And so at this point, many of my brides, I don't even meet with. And it's a beautiful thing. Because of those creative alliances that I formed with these planners, they're literally coming to me and saying, hey, this is the client, this is what, this is the look that we're going for, this is the budget.
Are you doing questions now or later?
No, you can please.
Okay. So I just had this experience because I'm starting to reach into the $15,000, $20,000, $25,000 weddings, and it's an interesting transition. And I had a planner who came to me. She's used to working with Lilac Inc., which is this really huge West Coast company that does a lot of stuff similar to you. Have you heard of them?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. And I'm a boutique florist, so I'm very personable, and I don't have warehouses filled with rentals. And I'm really more of a floral designer, but I do all the styling, and I was like, well, the florist does everything. And I'm like, all the rentals? She's like, oh yeah, we only work with florists that do everything. She was kind of pushed back on hiring me, even though the client hired me, not the planner. She actually was like, well, I don't know if I approve of that. Right? It's like, don't care. I want this florist, right? So basically what my question is to you is what's the difference between what a planner does and an event designer when you're getting into these sort of larger scale weddings? Because to me, my experience is the planner is actually doing the design with the client. And then now all of a sudden, she wants me to just make it all pretty. So I'm like, so you can be a dance coordinator?
So, very interesting question. And I think I've thought about this lots. And so, from the planner's aspect, a planner is, in a nutshell, in my opinion, the planner is there to negotiate contracts and to manage the project as a whole, manage the vendor process, to introduce the client to other vendors that they may not have had any knowledge of, the cake, the band, the DJ, the minister, even the venue. And so they're there just to handle those logistics. And so as the event designer, or are you a floor designer?
Floor designer.
So as the floor designer, you really only want to do floors, right?
I mean, I will help the bride if she feels she needs, like sometimes just they have a new coordinator and I like to just be helpful. I'm like, I call myself concierge, like I will help you with anything you need, but I'm not going to, I don't have a warehouse full of stuff like you do.
Notice when I first started speaking, I said my company is a full service event design firm and we also offer floor design services.
Yes.
Because as an event designer, how I like to explain it to them is what an interior designer does for an interior space, we have the ability to do that for an event space. So if that is the linens, the draping or tapestries, or the lighting, if we're bringing in rugs and flying, the lighting truss or whatever that is, that is not related to floral, to create the aesthetic in that space, we have the ability to do. We also have a warehouse full of stuff. 13 years of inventory, in a warehouse, and we also offer floor design service. Does that answer your question? What makes you unique? And this kind of piggybacks, off your question. One of the things is that thing that makes you unique. Is that a service offering, or is that a product? Or is that a particular design style? And for us, or for me, as an event designer, we don't also do florals. We handle the design part of it. And not all floral designers want to even touch that piece of it. And so some planners have the ability to do design, and some planners should not be allowed to dress themselves anymore. So you get the ones, and fortunately we work with several of the ones who, they bring their clients to us and they already have a full design plan. And this is what we're looking for. And we use that design plan as a guide to taking it and making it our own. None of them kind of hold us exactly to that unless they express to us that, these are some specific elements that the client has identified that they have to have. But we always have creative alliance to, create and put our own spin on things. Breaking your role up into specific goals. And in this space, I think it's important to educate, to extract, and explore. So as it relates to educating, when a new client or bride comes to us, I think that we get, because this is what we do every day, all day, that we sometimes subconsciously assume that they know the process, they understand that, these are the steps that we take to, get to, these are the steps that we take to get to that end goal. And really, this is a teaching moment. This is an opportunity to take a teaching moment to educate the client, because they don't know. Very often, This is the first time, more often than not, this is the first time that they're planning a wedding. And so it's a completely new idea for them. They don't know how much flowers cost. They don't know what our process is. They don't know, what happens. I think I heard someone say earlier that, they spoke to a client and 6 months ago when she just popped back up in the inbox this week and said, hey, I thought we hired you. And, they don't know the process. So it's our responsibility to sit down with that client and to educate them on the process and make sure that they understand, what's happening and how this works. Otherwise, we get things like that happening. We have a conversation and they just assume they hired us because they spoke to us. Okay. Extract. In the extraction phase, this is the perfect opportunity to start to discuss what that budget is, and or what's your financial obligation is what I like to say sometimes. And having that money conversation isn't always easy. A lot of us are. I know for me, I'm still not comfortable with talking about money. Like it's just that I'm in a consultation. We're just going and going and going and going until you get to that the good old money question. What's your budget? What are you looking to spend? And then explore. Once we know what that budget is, that's the perfect opportunity to begin to explore the possibilities of design. Because one of the things I find myself doing is my imagination always gets me in trouble. And I have sold a client the sun, the moon, and the stars, but they really can only afford the grass. And if you explore what that budget option is, or what that budget is in this phase, then you kind of give yourself some parameters on what ideas that you're selling the client on, because it's very hard when you sell them an ideal or a concept or a look or a style or even the floor variety that is really beyond their budget. It's hard to come from that. And I find that I have to also psych myself out from after I've sold them on that concept. It's like I'm married to the look and to the design, and this is what I want to do, because usually creatively it's something that that I haven't done before, because I'm always challenging myself to design and create outside of the box. So it's usually something that I really want to do. So now I have to go home and psych myself, talk myself off of the ledge, because then I find myself eating costs that I shouldn't have even explored from the beginning. And has anyone else found themselves doing that? Like, it's something that you really want to do. And then I think sometimes you really have to evaluate this on a case by case scenario. If it's going to be worth it for you to go that extra mile, to buy a couple extra books, to what's it going to do for you? Is it going to be something that you can use as an amazing portfolio piece to sell to another client? Is spending that extra $100 going to enable you to sell this to another client this look that you can make $1,000? So you have to really evaluate those things as they come. Selling to the customer's needs. One of the things that, knowing the client must have, this thing is really annoying. Knowing the client must have, knowing what is the client priority and who's paying. What are the client must have? One of the things that I always make sure that I ask the client when we're having a consultation is, what are your must have? What are your non-negotiables? Because every client has a budget, I want to make sure that if they can't afford everything that's on their wish list, what are your must-haves? Like, even if your groom doesn't show up this day, like, what is that one thing that you have to have? Or what are those three things that you have to have? And which If it's more than, if we have 10 must-haves, then how are you prioritizing those things? What things are most important to you? Is it your bar? Is it your florals? Is it your photography? Like, how do you prioritize those things in your budget? And what I like to hear when they're sitting in my office is their florals are the most important to them, or their design is most important to them. Because you know that, if a client is sitting in front of you and she's telling you that my flowers are the most important thing of my wedding day, or what my space looks like is the most important thing in my wedding day, then you know that your service offerings are at the top of her priority list, and we have an idea of how much florals cost, how much photography costs, like what are the bigger line items that they're going to be obligated to for their wedding. And the fact is, floral design is one of those things that's usually, outside of catering, I think it's probably one of the larger line items. And so I love to hear what she says, that, the florals are at the top of her priority list. Who's paying? Very often, we'll get a consultation, and it's, the mom, her aunt, her sister, her grandmother, 10 people in a consultation, which is very frustrating because you have to sit there and hear everyone's opinion about everything. And all I want to know is, okay, out of all these people who are inserting opinion, who's paying? Because that person who's paying, before they walk out of their office that day, you want to make sure that you have their contact information. If it's more than one people, if they're splitting the cost, you want everyone's contact information of who is responsible for paying that bill. Because when it comes time to pay your bill, and I'm sure we've all had to, play chase the bride when an invoice is due sometimes. And if she's not responsible for it, and her name's on the contract, then who else? Who is? So when it comes time to place orders or whatever it is that you need to take care of, that you're not, chasing someone, trying to chase her down. She's not responsive, but she's actually the one not paying. And sometimes she doesn't have that sense of urgency because it's not coming out directly out of her pocket, So you really want to know who's responsible for paying you. Build a competitive advantage. Do you have a unique product offering? Do you have a signature design, or are you selling you? And we kind of touched on this a second ago. Unique products. One of the things that our clients express to us is that they like, or something that attracts them to us based on what they saw online, is that we seem to offer a very unique design, something very, very over the top, very different is what I always hear more often than not. And so with every client, I try to strive to figure out what is that. If we can't do big, tall, over the top pieces on every table, then where in that room can we create that statement piece that's going to give us a wow factor? Where in that room, when that guest walks through the door, are they going to stop and open their mouth and just say, wow? And I really like to figure out what that statement piece is in the room and focus on that thing and for lack of a better term, downplay everything else around it. Not meaning that it's not going to be equally as beautiful or, lush or whatever the case is, but it won't be that big, tall, over-the-top statement piece. And for me and my company, that's one of the things that has really, made us stand out, is that unique, that creative, over-the-top statement piece that's, really going to be jaw-dropping and take the event to the next level. And not that your lower pieces aren't going to be, as beautiful or even lush or whatever the case is, but you're really going to focus and figure out what that one element is. Do you have a signature design? Are your clients coming to you because you offer a open area whimsical feel or a country style of floral design? Like what is that thing that they're coming to you for? And I think that it's important for us to realize what that unique product offering or design style that we have, and really play that up and instill that to our clients. Do you have a unique design style?
I think so, but I can also do anything.
Okay.
So, but I think definitely it's more garden inspired than organic. But
Okay.
it's fine, it's still not so wild, you don't know what's happening.
Okay. What about you?
Yes, I would say mine is a more garden style, but again, it's probably mine is a blush. You're going to get something that's more over the top, probably something more than what you thought you were going to get.
So if you say something more than what you thought you were paying for, do you find yourself investing more money in that piece than?
Sometimes I do, yes, and I'd rather not, but yes, sometimes I do.
Okay.
But sometimes it's more like you say, like this past weekend, I did some really over-the-top designs, but it was for a venue space that is just open that I know is going to have some really great stuff coming through there that I wanted to make an impression on them, and they had a great photographer, and it's first time to work with a designer that I want to work with more often.
And that goes back to what I said a little while ago. Determining is going that extra mile going to be working for you? Like you just said, it's a new venue. They had an amazing photographer, and I think that that's one of the things that's really important. That being able to capture your work. If very often the photographer the photographer is there working in the best interest of the client because the client hired them, and so they're there to capture the client images. And so if you're working with the client, with a photographer who has the eye to, if you know that they have the eye to capture the client as well as your work beautifully, because not all photographers can capture details. If they have that ability, then it may be, worth it for you to make that, invest a little bit more to make that piece exactly what you wanted to make it, because you're going to get those beautiful images from the photographer, but you have to communicate to the photographer that you need those things. And if it's, this beautiful wedding that you've been looking forward to all year, and you know that the photographer sucks, then it is worth it for you to make the investment in another photographer who is going to be there and working in your best interest. And also something that you need to communicate to the hired photographer who the client has hired, because I've run into situations where the photographer is the prima donna, and they don't want another photographer on the premises. And like I've literally had them say, if another photographer's there, we won't show up. And so, it's really important to figure out how to work with those photographers to make sure that we can capture the images that we need, because we do all this work, it takes all this time, and we also want to be able to tell our story and to be able to share these beautiful images with other clients, because this is how, this is how we make our money. This is how, we can showcase our designs. And so after going through all that, you want to be able to do that, right? Taking creative control. Creative connection, investing value in articulating the vision. I really think creative connection is something that's very, very, very important. When a bride is sitting at your consultation table or in your office or wherever you're meeting her, I think it's important. It's very important that you connect with that bride and that you feel that whether that's personality or if you feel like that you can properly understand what it is that she's asking you, that that she is expecting, and that you can 100% deliver what that is that she's anticipating on her wedding day. And if deep down inside you feel like that's something that you cannot do, it is okay to say no. It's okay to say, however you choose to say it, that I don't think that we're the perfect fit. And that's not something that just happens easily. I think it's taken me a very long time to learn to say no. or I just don't think that we're a perfect fit, and you'll save yourself a headache in the long run. And to that point, our project manager, in several situations, we've had a client come in and I'll sit down and do the consultation, and I'll say, and even before the consultation phase, I could actually tell in an email from the inquiry, sometimes the details from the email, and it's just a feeling in your gut that you just know. And I've said, Connie, I don't think this is not, our client is not going to work. And she'll say, oh, no, they have a budget of this, and that. And, they're asking for, these beautiful designs and yada, yada, yada. And I'll say, okay. And all 3 times that I've said okay, it always ends up being something that and I'm always saying, I told you so. I told you it wasn't the right fit. So finally she said, you know what? I'm just going to stop pushing when you say no. You were consistent. Okay. The investment value of florals, that's a tricky one. I think that very often brides get sticker shock when they see our invoices or our proposals. And I probably would get sticker shock too if I received a proposal with those kinds of numbers on them. But I think for what it's worth, when they understand the process, when they understand, when you can make them understand the process, then they can better see the value of their investment. When they understand that, we aren't pulling flowers out of our butts. These flowers came from a farm. A farmer had to till the soil and plant the seed and wait for that flower to grow and condition it to the point where they can cut it and ship it to me. And once it gets to me, now I have to condition it to the point where it will last to your wedding day and through your wedding. And all the hours that it took to go into creating this beautiful floral arrangement 10 and 20 times that goes on all of your tables, that they will understand the investment of the value of the investment. Articulating the vision. Like I said a few minutes ago, I think that my imagination always gets me in trouble. Always. I'll go into a space and they have I'm always inspired by the architectural details in the space. Or, for instance, there's one venue in Atlanta, and I was walking through the space with the bride, and it has this beautiful, I think they call it the White Hall, the Great Hall, and it has this 360 terrace balcony situation that's overlooking the Great Hall. And so, we were walking through the space, and I was explaining to her, I think it would be beautiful if your guests are on the terrace for the cocktail hour, and the drapes draw back and the lights drop, and you and the groom are there on the dance floor, and the guests are overlooking from the terrace while you guys take your first dance. And being able to be in that space with her and literally walk her through what my vision was, and she could see it and feel it and almost touch it, then everyone in the room is misty-eyed, and you just signed your check. And being able to create some of those, to articulate some of those creative design ideas, and really make the client understand what it is that you're trying to visualize her, whether that's through sketches or you're walking them through, has enabled me to be able to create some of my favorite designs. And so I'm just going to share a couple of these with you. So this is one of them. And this is one of my favorite transformations of like all time. This is actually a horse stable. Well, this is a horse stable in like North Georgia. The client wanted initially to have a destination wedding, and all of her guests couldn't afford to travel, so we found the furthest destination point we could within the state, and found a place that we could create, that we could transform from top to bottom. And this was a 7-day install, 7 days.
Did you guys do the drape and everything, or were you just making florals on that one?
So for this one, what we did was, as an event designer, we were able to walk through and say that, you know, we were going to drape the ceiling and we were going to carpet the floors and, you know, create the floor plan and the floor design. But we used a third party to, you know, to source the drape. There are some event designers who have drape in-house. That's not something that I care to stock. And so the client doesn't have to know that it's coming from a third party, because, you know, as the event designer, you're billing her for it, and, you know, with revenue in mind, then hopefully it's something that you can mark up and then you can make some money off of it because it's on your invoice.
What was the budget for that one?
This budget, this client ended up spending close to $500,000 total,
The whole wedding?
the whole wedding.
Food, no.
Food and all. This isn't a wedding, but it's one of my favorite social events. This was a baby shower. And again, as an event designer, in comparison to, you know, someone who just calls themselves a floral designer, I think that, you know, it's important to be able to use other creative elements as an event designer. You know, creating that overall total aesthetic in the space to, you know, articulate that design statement. This is another one. This is actually a piece that we host a design workshop every year, and this is one of the pieces that we created with the attendees of that design workshop. Voila. Any questions? How are we on time?
Great.
Okay.
Great on time. Lunch will be following this session, so.
Okay. Did anyone have any questions?
So I know that I have weddings that I'm eager to post because I'm excited about the design. Do you, and then I also have those weddings that will never see the light of day because it's just, you know, whatever, you get it. So do you still, at this point in your career, have weddings or events that are not social media worthy?
Absolutely.
Oh, wow.
Absolutely. It is not,
Right.
and it's not always that it's not worthy because of what the design was. It goes back to that thing about the photographer being able to capture the design. I don't personally like to post a lot of cell phone pictures, but I understand that it's important in the world of social media. It's important to the bride, especially that bride who is always on social media. She wants to see things happen in real time, and so it's okay to post cell phone pictures. It's okay to do stories. It's okay to post videos and that sort of thing, and more so videos in your stories. Because she wants to see those things as they unfold. You know, although it's something that some of us may cringe at, the reality of it is that they like to see those things happen. They want to, you know, they're on your social media pages. They're looking, they're watching, and so, but to further elaborate on your question, yes, I think that, you know, we do sometimes we have those clients that, you know, it's I won't say that we can't be proud of the design, but sometimes when you're delivering what the client asks for, and it doesn't always photograph well. It doesn't always photograph well, and sometimes you take those things just to pay the bills, you know.
So it would be like, I mean, I'm trying to do less and less, but just jobs that aren't necessarily not beautiful, they just aren't that huge statement that you're trying to sell. They don't fit the brand that you're actually trying to
of is this indicative of the brand or the market that I'm trying to reach or where I want to be? Is this going to be, is this going to speak to that client? Because, putting it out there on social media, although you can remove it, but, is it going to benefit you posting this picture? Or is it going to be detrimental to your brand? Because I all the time I find myself looking at some of my colleagues' social media, and I'm just like, wow, I would have never posted that. It's like, wow, that's a really bad angle. So, just be very conscious of those things.
And I heard you talked about the bride that comes in and says that florals are my absolute, and you're like, yes, great. But the one that comes in, and maybe you just say no to these straight out, but the ones that comes in and say, floral's not really important to me, but my mother wants me. Do you say yes to those and take on the challenge and try and convince them in the end that florals are actually important to them?
So,
Or,
I always hate when I'm in a consultation and I ask, and the bride says, I really want my wedding to be beautiful, but I'm not really a big floral person. And I want to say, girl, why are you here?
Yeah.
But those are the clients who sometimes I feel like they're doing that they're saying those things as almost as I guess, can I say a protection mechanism? Because they don't know how much it's going to cost. They're in fear of what the invoice is going to look like, and so they're trying to psych themselves out about how they feel about florals. And some of them genuinely, they really, they really aren't that into florals. And so, as an event designer who offers floral design services, I realized that that very question has brought me to the realization that every bride deserves a beautiful wedding. I personally feel like every bride deserves a beautiful wedding, and whether that's done with millions of flowers if she can afford it, or whether that's done with millions of candles. Although candles are also still expensive, but we have a little more flexibility to do things creatively with them that we aren't subject to the cost of perishable florals. And so to that point, we have actually next year we're launching an extension of our brand that's called Glow by Akeem Clayton, that we're going to be able to create entire roomscapes with using the majority of candles and different types of candle props for those clients who cannot afford flowers. And if you want to add on flowers, bud vases or smaller pieces, you can do that a la carte, but we're going to create packages with candles as opposed to selling them floral. And that way, we can also service the bride who, doesn't have $30,000 to throw at her wedding, and she can, only make a smaller, she has a smaller budget.
I have a, questionnaire. How important are your flowers for your wedding? So just, I know before you have an interview,
That's a good.
where is the flowers?
That's a good thing. And you said that I should probably add that to mine. You want to know how important your flowers are to you, because flowers are a large part of what we do. I also have that question there. Are you looking to spend $5,000 to $10,000? Are you looking to spend 10 to 20, or is it 30 to 40? Like, what's your financial commitment as it relates to your design for your wedding? Then that really gives you an idea. Is this or is that below $5,000? So is that going to be an Akeem Clayton bride, or is that now going to be a Glow bride? Any other questions?
Okay,
Okay.
I imagine you didn't start doing these huge, like, $200,000, $300,000, $400,000, $500,000 weddings?
No.
What would you, I mean, this could be a 45-minute conversation, so like, as quickly as possible, what would be some tips that would help somebody transition from, maybe not so much like doing a whole event design, unless that's what it is, but like moving from that, like, you know, one section to the next up here?
So 2 parts. I think that, first of all, not everyone has an interest in event design as a whole. You know, I think it's important to identify what aspect of the design that you, like, where your heart is. And if you choose, and if that's something that you want to do, then you creatively figure that part out. But in terms of, you know, where we started from and to where we are in terms of like the clients and the different budgets, I always like to tell people that no, I didn't start out with clients that, you know, who have those types of budgets. And even now, not all of our clients, although we have an order minimum, not all of our clients are, you know, they have those hundreds of thousands of dollars to spend on weddings. But if that's where you are wanting to be, and that's not where you are, fake it till you make it. But if that's what you're putting out there, then you have to be able to walk the walk and talk the talk. And you know, if you're doing, if you are creating style shoots or which is something that we did a lot of early on, create style shoots and make those shoots indicative of the brand that you hope to be, and for targeting to the brides that you hope to attract. And I really think that's one of the things that really help being able to create those statement pieces. I found myself very early on doing bridal shows, and I would always, the 3 times that I tried it, I would always find myself creating these big over-the-top statement pieces in a bridal show. And I got people, you know, they would see it, they would admire it, and they would drool over it, and they would walk right past that table and say, oh my God, it's beautiful, but I know we can't afford it. And so, is your bride at a bridal show? Likely not. And so, you know, that taught me that, you know, if this is the bride that I aspire to service, but she is not at a bridal show. And so, you won't find me there. Not that anything's wrong with the bridal show. Not that anything is wrong with the bridal show. But you just have to be aware of, you know, your market or your target audience. And if she's there at a bridal show, then absolutely, then, you know, go to that bridal show. All right, so I think my time is up. Thank you for listening.